Can't see him kind of like 10.
I'll stand in my yard.
Oh, would you? I see Barrett that all the time with a dog.
Oh, yeah.
She's wearing out sneakers.
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Yeah.
I heard. No. I know you probably do. Too old, too tired, too wide.
Have a couple of trees. Thank you. There's an old guy who does that. We're doing all fair share. Watch your stuff. He's been.
He's tired. No. A lot going on, running in here. Working.
We're gonna get rushing on this.
It's going. Not as crazy as last week, so far anyway.
Really?
All right, let's get this meeting started. We'll start with a meeting up with a prayer and get started. Pray with me. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here today. We ask that you bless us and watch over us. We ask that you watch over our families. We ask that you watch over our city. And we ask that you watch over our community. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. First thing up on the agenda is Food for Kids links. Heather, I'll let you have the floor.
Okay, just sit right here.
If you want to stand and sit,
Okay, I'm Heather Burke Cody. This is Amy Johnson and Candace Turner. We are part of the Everyday Good, which is a nonprofit here in town. First of all, thank you so much for allowing us to come tonight and tell you about Food for Kids, share our heart, and tell you a little bit about our goals. Amy has a little pamphlet we'll pass out to you guys, and you can read and learn just a little bit more about what we're doing. We will have the opportunity to meet the needs of 316 kids every week by distributing food bags into children's backpacks each Friday. The need is great, and our hearts are eager to help. We will be partnering with community volunteers to pack the food and deliver them to 13 schools in Habersham County. We are here tonight to request permission to lease closet space in the cafeteria here at City Hall to store our food for the Food for Kids project. We are grateful for all you do in this community, and most especially your consideration of this request. We're actually going to be packing bags Thursday of this week. You can go to the Everyday Good and learn more about us and learn more about the food program. And we would invite anybody here in the community to do the same. We'd love to have you all help us pack some bags for these hungry kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where are you packing?
Thursday.
In the cafeteria.
In the cafeteria.
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
And as a school counselor and a former high school administrator, I see the students in Habersham County that benefit from this program. They get to eat at school. You know, all the kids get to eat at school, and they go home on the weekends, and everybody's at home at one time, and whatever little bit that they've got gets depleted. And I have kids that thank me or have thanked me, because this will be the first time we've done this this time, right?
That's right.
And we've got some really needy kids. I'm at the Success Academy now, and so we have a lot of children that are in need, and it is an absolute blessing that y'all step up and take care of that.
Well, and thank you to all you, the teachers, the administration, educational system. I don't know what these kids would have done. You know, the Food to Kids program abruptly stopped last year in May, and so there's just been a gap. And so that's our hope right now, is to restart this program. You administrators and teachers have been the ones to fill in the gap for these hungry kids. So thank you for doing that.
And this is a program that's funded by everybody. It's $6 per bag. And it's very important that you can support this program and help support some of these kids, because everybody's coming together to support them.
I mean, is there no food bank here, or that can help support that?
Yeah.
Because I know down in Clayton, like, we did stuff like that all the time with the North Georgia food.
Yeah, and so they have been so great. We are getting our food from the food bank in Clayton and the one in Athens as well. They're partnering with us to do this. This is truly just a community-wide effort.
Hey guys, what we're doing is, they came to us last week, and I showed them that there's 2 closets in the cafeteria, in the kitchen part, and we had to make sure they were sealed off. We'll take care of the bug spray to make sure nothing is like that. They brought in shelves, and they'll roll that out into the cafeteria where we've got the table set up. They'll just do assembly line down that, and then they'll take them and run with them from there. And but basically, it's a 12-month lease that Thomas will prepare. It's $1 a year kind of thing, so it's not chargeable for that. And being good use of this end of the building, and it just is a perfect situation here. I told them if we ever get a restaurant in there, we'll gladly move them into a classroom. Right now, they just ease of being let out the door.
That's right.
So,
Not only help packing, y'all need help with deliveries and things of that nature too.
That's right.
So
That's
if you have
right.
extra time, they need it.
what time are you doing it on Thursday?
So on Thursday, it's at 8:30. Yeah, and we would welcome any help. And again, you can go to theeverydaygood.com and you can learn more about us and about the Food for Kids program, and you can actually sign up. We would love for you all to join us.
Is this only during when school's in session, or do you do this during the summer?
So right now, it will be just during the school session. We are talking about some other opportunities to help kids throughout the summer as well, but for right now, it will be just during the school session. It's gonna be about $75,000 to $95,000 a year to continue, and so that'll just be by God's grace and the community support for us to meet that. But we don't take for granted that just this lease space came available to us. We just truly feel like that was the Lord's working, and we're just hopeful that it will continue to meet the needs of these kids.
I was involved in Backpack Love and Holland, and it's very successful.
It's exactly a similar program.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And y'all, I'll brag on Jerry. I know he doesn't like that, but his wife, Meredith, is very involved in this also. And she's the one that had the knowledge of what was in this building when they came. So.
Well, it sounds like you brag on her.
I am. It's all there. But thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
Council, y'all have any
Thank you so
questions?
much.
Any problems with moving forward with that? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll just at this point talk about the space,
Yeah, we're leasing them.
not space,
Sir?
not monetary.
Not monetary. Monetary would be, out of your own pockets. If y'all want to do this.
Who's the president? I know the police name.
I'm sorry.
Who's the president? Who will sign it?
I'm the president.
You are.
Meredith May.
I'm
I'm the president, but she's the boss. So make a note of that.
That's my gear fees too.
So Meredith very well may sign it. Yes, and maybe
That's
also.
what she and I.
How about that? Yeah.
What's your last name? I'm sorry.
Heather Burke hyphen Cody.
How's Brent?
He's so good. He told me to tell you hello. Yeah.
Tell me your cell phone number.
706.
No.
Okay. Just don't think that. I wasn't thinking about that being on.
You'll get it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, y'all are free to go, ladies.
Yeah, we appreciate you all so much. Thank you. Yes, if you want to. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Next is, Jim, would you like to have the floor to speak about the event? Hold over some.
Yeah, real quick, number 10 is also us, and could we bump 10 up with this? Just cover everything at once? That'd be okay? All right, we have Jamie with us from Holden Oversoul, and this is kind of his brainchild here on this first part that we were wanting to cover. So I'll let you describe what it is for March the 2nd. The DDA has already voted and approved on our level, but we're bringing it up to you guys. We know we need to discuss with police, fire, and Brian brings them all in on this event for March the 2nd in town. We'll be closing off the post office parking lot for a little while. But Jamie,
Yeah.
you describe it.
So my idea is to bring 2 days before Fat Tuesday, bring a crawfish boil and oyster roast downtown Demorest in the post office parking lot. This would involve closing the parking lot. I've already, March 2nd is a Sunday. And Fat Tuesday is the following Tuesday. I've talked to Casey already, and he's good on closing down the parking lot that night, the night before, middle of the night. He said he could bring somebody just on patrol that day to kind of just do drive-bys as the event is going on. The event's technically 1 to 2. We're selling tickets ahead of time. We're maxed out tickets at 100 people, but so far we've sold 42 tickets. We're building tables with trash cans in the middle, just like an oyster roast you would see in New Orleans or in Charleston, wherever. Throwing the oyster shells in the middle of the table with crawfish bodies in the middle of the table. I have 2 boilers out there set up for the crawfish and a charcoal grill for the oysters. We'll be handing out wristbands. There'll be a single entrance in where 2 of my employees will be checking their names off of tickets they bought and offering them a wristband. That's a 21 over event. We'll have everything in clear cups. We'll have beer and wine, soft drinks and water, no liquor. And everything's inclusive in the ticket price, which is $80, which includes basically bottomless crawfish, bottomless oysters, drinks from 1 to 2. So we'll start letting people in at 12:30. Music starts at 12:30 with Scott Lowe and the Blue Bouillon Band from Reagan County. They're going to play in a little gazebo or pavilion area we have out there. They'll play 12 to 2:45. At that time at 2:45, he'll stop playing and the event will be coming to an end. And we just need 2 hours to clean the parking lot up. So probably the parking lot will be open by 5. So like Jim mentioned, the DDA approved it and I needed to bring it to y'all.
I'll bump it up to you guys.
And obviously if I sold 42 tickets, I've been told by Mark and Jim to go ahead and promote it. So I don't know what happens for that. In an event of a rain, we're going to try to consolidate it inside Holden Oversoul at some point. I am renting a porta-john, and also the restaurant will be open just for the restroom only. No drink or food service in the restaurant. So it'll be 2 bathrooms there.
Thomas, with this, since this is kind of the DDA's area, that's the DDA's decision.
It's DDA property, all DDA property.
The only thing that we have to give a head nod is allowing for police, right?
And probably closing that part.
Yeah, police, fire, or anything, whatever Brian may need to do.
I think it's still DDA property.
Yeah, but it's used for public.
Okay.
The extent of public parking.
The actual event will be
Not in the street, just in the parking lot.
but people will only be there from 12:30 to 3.
Okay.
So I have a question. If someone gets hurt at this event, where does that liability fall? On Jamie, city, or the post office?
It'll be a post office because
Yeah, I have over $1 million liability insurance. But I got a question about that. Let's say if anybody does anything out there and somebody gets hurt in the entertainment district, who does that fall on?
On any day.
Yeah.
Good question. Question with regarding this event is probably it's gonna wind up being both Holden Oversoul and the city and DDA to get
Combined.
any loss. Ultimately, that responsibility is probably gonna fall on, I'd say, Holden Oversoul because it's their event.
That's the event.
But we're always at risk of
Yeah.
any type of lawsuits, even if I roll my ankle on the way to the post office. Council, do you have any questions or opinions?
You said it's, oh, you can drink alcohol from when to when?
From 1 to 12:30 to 3. But my licensed bartender will be handing out beverages. We're just doing Coors, a red wine, a Beta beer, and a white wine. No, nothing over like 4.5%, 5%. No like IPAs or nothing like that.
Council, any questions?
I don't know why they bring it to council, it's already been approved.
Which they just need, I guess, our.
Just in cooperation with the police and fire services. Yeah.
All I asked Jim was, and Jamie was, council just needs to know about
Yeah.
it. Because how would you know if you don't read their minutes until I've just made that suggestion?
Thanks, guys. What else you got, Jim?
Resignation of Rebecca Godwin. She was formerly our chair, and she has completely removed herself and taken on more responsibilities over Piedmont.
Yeah, we appreciate our service over the years.
We officially received her resignation, and we voted and approved that with DDA, and just bringing it up to you guys because you guys are involved with the directors that come and go.
And we have to accept her resignation letter, correct? We have to vote to accept that.
I don't think she can be replaced till there's a replacement person, from what I
But
understand.
we have to accept her resignation.
Because
You're the one who needs to.
Okay.
On the DDA bylaws, I have to bring that to you guys, and you guys vote,
Yeah.
vote to accept or whatever. So here we are.
Awesome. What else you got for us?
Megan helped me out on this one, the bank signer, check signer for DDA.
Who do you want on that?
Well, we have somebody that's been doing it already.
No.
My husband being Rebecca
Right.
and Mark.
So
That's the
we'll need to change hands off of Rebecca to someone else. So,
Okay, who do you propose?
I mean, do I go ahead and need to do that then in this case? So since I'm the chair now, I can take that.
Okay.
Take it on with everything else.
Okay.
So,
So there's two different DDA accounts. We have a DDA account, that's operational DDA account, and then we have
Is that
a
what-
DDA account for our lease.
now is that with traditions?
Yes. That's what we want.
So I'll need to go in down there.
I have account numbers if you need those.
Well, somebody need to go with me. for-
We'll have to get the minutes and you'll have to take the minutes with you.
That's something you and Megan and I will work on.
Okay,
I'll submit it, let them know, they'll send the paperwork to me and I'll let you know it's ready.
sure. Sounds great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Anything
you,
else?
sir. No, sir.
All right.
You're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, next is discussion of general liability insurance options.
That sounds like a lot of fun, right?
Hope you have color charts.
So first, I'd like to start by saying thank you to Megan and Mark for their work in making this process successful. We had to do a lot of just fact-finding, gathering, making sure that our buildings are all insured properly, and make sure we had the right values on them. So we went through a pretty extensive process this year during that renewal process, so I appreciate both of y'all's help. I think you see in your packet, kind of snapshot.
Go to the first page. Yeah, the one that's in your hand there.
Number 5.
under tab 1. So he's gonna show you the 24 premium and the 25 and the
Yep.
percent of change.
Side by side, so you can kind of get a feel for, the renewal and the renewal process. So we listed it out by line item, so you can see each line of coverage and kind of how it's affected. And I'll talk just briefly about a couple of them. For example, the property. So as I mentioned when I started, we kind of did an extensive look at all of our buildings. And so our property values, we actually raised our property values about 1.1 million, I think, over what we had last year. So when you see the percentage of change between the premium last year and the premium this year, you have to take into consideration that we also, our exposure increased from about 18 million to 19.15 million. I think.
Yeah.
So we had some increase there. General liability, you can see, actually had a very, very small decrease, but a decrease nonetheless.
Tell them what you normally have foreseen.
Yes. So I'll kind of talk in summary real quick about all of kind of what I've been seeing over the past really 2 years. So if you've seen probably your own personal insurance, it has skyrocketed in the last couple of years. Property has been a leader in the last probably 24 months. Part of the reason for that is, right, we've had some historic weather events in the state of Georgia we've never seen before. If you remember the end of 22, December 23rd and 4th of 22, we had the freeze up here in North Georgia. It's the largest weather event in the history of the state of Georgia at that time. I'm afraid this hurricane that hit most of East Georgia, including Augusta and some parts of Southeast Georgia, may top those numbers. So we've got some kind of crazy stuff happening property-wise. If you don't change anything from a property standpoint, it's kind of been a minimum of 10% rate increase property-wise. So that's just to kind of give you some idea of what's going on. General liability, we're seeing everything from about 5% up to about 10, 11%. Now, some of that really is determined based off of losses. You guys, knock on wood, you had a successful year, so you don't have any major losses, which obviously helps you during the whole process. Public officials, so this is one area where all of the carriers are experiencing more claims than they've probably ever had in the history. I think some of that just has to do with the litigious society that we all live in today. You can see that that's far and away your largest percentage increase. It's not even close. When I talked to the carrier about it, they said, look, this is what we're doing. We're seeing this across the board where we're having fun for future losses because of the increased number of lawsuits on that particular line of coverage that they're seeing across the state. Auto, I feel like we had a huge success here in auto. You'll see there, you had the exact same number of autos this year as you did the same time last year. So no, it's changed. The rate increases that we have seen though are between 15 and 25%. Sometimes they reach up close to 30% in auto. If you look at your personal auto premium, I'm sure you're going to see significant increases. They did a fantastic job during this renewal process. 5.91% I thought was really, really, really good. Crime, there's not much exposure there, not much charge. The other area that I think we had lots of success is in the umbrella section as well. Umbrellas are nothing more than a function of the underlying policy that's in it. And umbrellas, we have seen more requests for full umbrella limits and claims today than ever before. Umbrella premiums, we've actually experienced two things. We've experienced where carriers are reducing the amount of umbrella that we can offer, many times not offering any umbrella. And then we've seen, and we have to go to what we call an excess marketplace to get coverage. And then when they have offered coverages, we've seen regularly 20% in umbrella premium change. You guys were 8.98% on umbrella. Again, some of that's a function of, we haven't had any major claims that have caused any problems. Some of it's, when they come up here and done what they call loss control inspection, I think they did it in March, maybe last year. They felt like you guys were doing the due diligence and the things you needed to do.
Jim, if I could add on that, but the lady came up here and met with each department and went to see everything that we have, made some recommendations of things that we needed to do. So.
And I encourage that a lot of times from the insurance carrier, because what happens is, right, we all get used to living in our own house. And we all see things one way. But when you do invite somebody in that's actually looking to help you and help you change something for the better, I think that's a successful way to work together to reduce risk. Again, Mark, Megan, thank you all very much. Y'all helped make this process go smoothly. I really feel like, and carrier kind of do their part on the backside.
And we also picked up the cyber security.
We do. So, and that was one piece that Mark and I had a lot of discussions about last year. The carrier recommended there is actually the same carrier who handles our coverage at our office. Y'all, cyber coverage is changing so fast. Cyber criminals today are coming up with new ways. While we're spending our time working, trying to make the city better, whatever we all do, cyber criminals do nothing but wake up every day and try to figure out how to steal information from you that can enrich them. And every day it's changing. That marketplace is changing drastically. The carrier that's on there is a specialty broker that we use just for cyber coverage. So they don't write any other type of insurance coverage. They only specialize in cyber, which I think is important because it allows them, they see claims all over the country. They're able to amend policies as they see the need to make amendments. I think it's very, very beneficial, especially in the city.
Does ACG, y'all still use ACG? Do they not offer cybersecurity from their standpoint?
Cybersecurity.
They don't, no, they do the actual work,
Right.
but they don't provide any insurance protection for like, if they actually, if somebody comes in, let's say somebody clicked on an email and it shut down the city for, the main one everybody hears about a lot of is the malware, and they'll literally lock your computer down and they'll say, in order to get your information back, we want $1 million.
Right.
And I actually had a quick story on that. I had a client that said, well, I don't have $1 million to pay you when the cyber criminal sent them the email. And they actually forwarded my client my email. They had a copy of their cyber policy attached to it. And they said, you may not, but they did. So these guys they're super creative and it's changing everything. They actually handle our stuff too at our office, so I actually have contact with them as well.
So he is talking with Chuck.
Yes.
Chuck is aware.
I just thought since that they would offer
They
that.
just do the
Their
work.
business.
They do the work, but these are very, very specialized policies available.
So the cyber is not listed in any of these totals, right?
Now go to the very last page of this.
No, but
part
on
of
the front, I understand what you're asking, Charlie. On the first page, all of these totals at 167. Does that include the cyber?
Yep.
It's not.
Okay.
Those are just those.
Go to the last page. We had two bids. Coalition was 7,500 and Cowbell was 1,900.
I don't see any reason why they said 500. equally as good as those.
So that will be, we will need to approve Tokyo Marine, if y'all so choose, and Cowbell for the cyber liability. Yeah. Cowbell.
I'm telling you, these carriers are doing cyber, and it's true, you're prepared.
Any more comments?
Any other questions?
Council, any other questions?
Y'all need Jimbo to stay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Thanks, sir.
Need some?
Alright, next is, back on the table is Habersham Partnership for Growth, or EEC. That's where they came to us last month and talked to us about continuing on with our partnership. What was that invoice, or our previous commitment?
Well, they, just so you know, they could not give me their invoice, so I told them.
For 2025.
I didn't look back to see, but it's somewhere in that range right there.
The 2024 one was 5,000. They have not submitted a 2025 invoice yet.
So I told them you couldn't get it to me, we just got to table it until March. And they have 30 days to give that invoice.
Alright, next is GMA, the program. Mark, you wanna explain what this is?
I'm gonna pass this today, that you come forward for the PTSD program for the public servants, I mean, for the, first responders.
First responders. So the state of Georgia passed a law last year that requires any agency, municipal government, county government that has first responders, police, fire, EMS, to have a PTSD coverage so that if in the event that we have our own PTSD issues, we have a policy and a program that we can get involved to take care of us and our mental health.
And not that I wanna be stupid, but with PTSD, you're talking about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the state of Georgia passed that, which requires everyone to have one, every municipality to have one.
On the second page, you have three options. A $5,000 limit, a $10,000, and a $15,000. And to the right of that tells you, y'all will have to vote on which limit you want. And the premium to the right is the amount we would have to pay for this each year.
Per person?
No, one time.
Just one time, okay. Per year.
Per year.
So a lot of the municipalities have already kind of addressed this. Do we kind of know what they?
I've been seeing the 15,000, so that's what Baldwin did last month. You know, if you look at the difference, it's 2,900 to 3,850 range, so.
What about the one for volunteer?
Who provides the
Is
service?
this
You gotta
annual?
fill in the amount.
Is this an annual premium or?
Yeah,
Okay, well, there's not that much
Find
difference.
someone who provides the service and they cover it. That's all.
There's not that much difference in the amounts between these.
Right.
If it's an annual amount, it's very little.
This looks like a group rate negotiated by ACCG and GMA.
right.
What about one for volunteers? You need that one at all,
If you have volunteer firefighters,
do you?
but that will cover all cases of people, police department, and fire.
Casey, you got any comments? Okay.
Council, y'all have any comments, questions?
Money well spent.
Say what you say up there.
Well, it's a valid question, and if there are actually
So we pick it,
employee
we
people
pick the
who
one we're
have
gonna do,
to,
and then we pass the resolution.
There's a resolution
Just if it would keep you from knowing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just say, if I had,
Somehow, we need to know that.
yeah, just say, if I could elaborate, if I had a department of 500, I could probably tell you that, but since we're such a small department, I'm not going to say yes or no, because we are a
Yes.
small, very small department.
It'd be hard pressed to say no. These days now.
What are you reading there, Maggie? Read under optional limits for consideration on the second page.
Is that the one with the amounts, or is that?
Yes, so read at the top above the yellow.
Okay, what are we reading here?
I don't know if that's what they were talking about over there, so.
It says the coverage limit reflected for the lump sum 3,000.
See, it doesn't make sense what they're saying, the lump sum of 3,000, and then the benefits is 60% of earnings for employees.
So if we go with the top tier, is it 68.50?
So then it says the mandated limit is $3,000 per first responder. So you can, that it's optional for you to go 5,000, 10,000, or 15, but we're mandated 3,000 from my understanding.
And you see 3,000 doesn't even show us a cost.
Well, it's on the front page, so I think that's the price per employee, right? 863, is that the price per?
It says
No,
premium for
all
all first
first
responders.
Okay.
Oh, that's the mandated limit. Okay, all right. So we have 4 options. 863 all the way up to 3,800 or 850. Council, any opinions? Y'all wanna negotiate which one?
There's no difference in
Well,
service.
yeah, because the
160
first one was a lifetime benefit per person.
Yeah, so there's 2 coverage components. There's the lifetime critical illness lump sum, PTSD diagnosis benefit, which is the mandated 3,000, and then you have the option to increase it, or and then there's another coverage that's required, and it's the lifetime long-term PTSD disability benefit, and that's component 2. So, and I had to submit a census to them. And this is what they give us, so it's based off of the census.
So these are 2 different companies on these 2 pages?
No,
It's the same.
it's on that line.
It's just there's 2 different components to it.
I really don't even understand the difference between those.
Megan, does this have a start date? Mandatory?
This is supposed to be effective January 1.
Y'all can table it, we can get you some more information.
Or we can just give you the approval to move forward
Do that too.
with your
I mean,
spending balance.
you had to email that guy and let him know that we would have it to him.
That's true.
So we had a deadline to submit, like if we wanted to participate in the program, we had a deadline to submit a census by January 1. So once we submitted the census, this is what we received.
As their estimate for our proposal.
So if we just vote to do the 3,000 and then give you the leeway to,
Pay the $863.
And then what about the
The
disability?
mandated amount.
The mandated amount, yeah.
just give you the authority or the pass to do the mandated amount, once you increase it.
We can do that. And then we can reaffirm it in March if we need be.
Okay, probably needs to be.
I think that on the first page, that price at the bottom, the 27.34, that's your premium for the minimum mandatory coverage.
For 182,
I
both
think-
components.
And I think what's confusing is that when you turn to the second page, the enhanced benefit for the lifetime is the same amount as the combined on the first page. But I think that what this seems to say to me is that you increase that lump sum payment to 5, 10, 15. Those are your amounts. And
And that's your premium cost for those amounts.
and those are your premium costs. And so then if you increase the, income benefit from 1,500 to 2,000, that's your premium cost is at 27.34. So if you go with an enhanced coverage, you figure out what your lump sum is, and then you add it. If you're also gonna go with the enhanced disability benefit, you add those two numbers together.
And I see what you're saying, Tom.
It's really confusing that 27.34 is the same amount of payments. Those are two different things.
And so we just changed it. Basically, it's this amount if we're going, it's for 2,734 if we're going with the basic. And then if we increase it, we would just change the 3,000 to 5, 10, or 15, basically.
You're gonna have to check the box on the next page, you're gonna
Increase it, okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Makes sense. So, and I'm assuming like these numbers come from the census, that's where they
Right.
got these numbers.
Next is our discussion of the 4th of July. Our senior packet, a proposal for the fireworks.
I've got two proposals in there. The first proposal is the same company that we have used for the last 3 years. And I'm not aware of anybody saying it was a bad show. They all thought it was a good show. I know everybody may not appreciate the fireworks, but it is what it is there. And, this is the first time in 2 years I've been able to get another proposal. And, our guy here only went up slightly from last year, and he actually describes in here the number of shots, etc., and the type of shells. He says that the duration of the show will last 15 to 18 minutes. And I would tell you that our show is lasting 25 to 27 minutes on what I've timed for the last 2 or 3 years. But I do know that our pyro guy that does our event actually lives here in Demorest. So I think he gives us a little extra boost because again, he gets to pick his hometown. But his price is $27,500. And this company has been around since 1889. Some kind of crazy time frame. They got a $10 million general liability policy, and they're a big company. If you go to the last 2 pages of this guy's out of South Carolina. He's been in the business for 20 years. He's only owned this company for 3. He's only got $1 million general liability policy. And he gives the same information. And his price is $20,625, roughly $7,100 cheaper. So I got both of their proposals, had them described there, and I whited out the company name and the price, and I sent their proposals to each other. So basically, they beat each other up verbally on their type of, mine is better, fireworks, they're gonna be higher, they're gonna be better. But hey, he's got me on $10 million general liability. He probably does 225 shows a year, and we've had good luck with it, but is it enough to change for $7,100, knowing the kind of show we've had the last 3 years?
Can it be a third option? No fireworks. We just talked about PBS 3, and here you are. creating PTSD.
If you don't want them to do it, tell them not to go for it, all I can tell
I
you.
don't want fireworks anymore. I mean, you're not gonna do the ones with compressed air, you're not gonna do the drone, and you're not gonna do the laser. Those are all available now. So I say, do away with the fireworks.
We did check the
The
price on
city's
those
having
last
a
year.
little money issue, $20,000 would probably be a nice amount of money to put somewhere that's needed. And just because we've done it for 100 whatever years, outside of 2, there's no reason to keep doing it.
So that is your 2 proposals that I have. Apples to apples, I think they're pretty close, and the cheaper one, like I said, he's only been in business for 3 years, and he does 15 or so a year. So he's just a smaller guy trying to grow, where he worked for a large company doing this and traveled around the country. So,
The difference in liability.
that is a big difference.
That is a big difference. And there's a lot of woods over there,
Not only that, there's a lot of
buildings, yeah.
houses.
a house right under it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other company that we did it last year, they did an excellent job of cleaning up. Tell the story, Dave, please.
So, last year after fireworks show, the house that we're discussing is covered in fireworks debris. And, I didn't know who was gonna clean it up, so I went to Brian. I said, Brian, what can we do to help this lady out? He said, we'll get our crew over there and clean it up, it was his responsibility. Brian's crew was there at 8 o'clock, it was already open, the entire yard was cleaned up
The
before they ever got there.
fireworks folks cleaned up the entire site, and they stack it up right there at the fence at the trash can. And then the city picks up all the trash from there in the trash truck.
They did a good job. It looked better, chief, the lady there told me it looked better
Did it-
after than afterwards, yeah.
So they're comparable, it's just a difference of $7,000,
And we know one and we don't know one.
correct?
I mean, we have 3 years of experience with one.
We went so many years with not so good fireworks.
Yeah.
And I really think that it's worth it, the fireworks. Or if you're gonna do it, it's worth spending the extra to know that it's gonna be worth our dime and worth the citizens' dimes.
The more expensive one is 1,656 shots. The cheaper one says between 2,000 and 2,500 shots. But the insurance is a little nerve-wracking.
And the more expensive one says his fireworks will be brighter and higher than his opponent, so that's what I said.
200 feet.
Yeah, so,
Even higher than what you cut down the trees, that was the whole point of cutting down the trees. Higher shouldn't be an issue here.
the other guy hadn't been here, he can only look at Google Maps that shows the trees, so that was a discussion that he and I had about that, so.
Council, any other further discussions? All right, let's move on to, city manager contract. I would like to table this to at least go into executive session and then have a conversation about it for our regular meeting. Let's move on to, Jim's already talked about DDA. So we have discussion of IGA training with Baldwin. Chief, you got something for us on that?
I do, so, as part of ISO training, we're required to do 240 hours a year, give or take, depending on your rank and your job. But all of us are required to do what's called facilities training. Facilities training is that you're actually using a burn building. Presently, the only burn building that we can use that is in use is the city of Baldwin's. And so we have an agreement, we have to pay them money so they can maintain that. All the departments in the county do pay that.
You don't have that agreement now, correct?
We do. It's just a renewal of that agreement.
For the $1,000 a year? Okay.
Yeah.
Council, do you have any conversation?
We've already paid.
Yeah.
We've already paid to use the facility.
Yeah, just have to continue on this.
Would you ever consider, or what would be the pros and cons, like if a citizen wanted to use their house as a For training.
For training, okay, so it can be done in someone's house, but there are a lot of EPA regulations that come into place. You start talking about asbestos, obviously I talked about they had to take the shingles off, you have to take all the plumbing out, there's a lot of work that goes into preparation for those houses, and sometimes that becomes cost prohibitive. Yeah, we could go into someone's house and we can do, specific types of training, but we can never get the actual experience that you get in a burn building where there's fire and heat and smoke blowing over your head.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, stay right here.
Next is discussion with mutual aid with the city of Crewonia.
So we several months ago, we redid our agreement with the county. And now I finally have reached an agreement with the city of Cornelia and Chief Jenkins and their city manager. They're going to provide us, that for years, they provided us with an engine and 2 firefighters to go to all of our potential fires. That agreement actually has been lacking for a number of years, and so we had to come to the point where we had to call them. They weren't coming automatically. They have agreed to give us their ladder to come to all of our calls, which would help us in our ISO quest. So every fire or potential fire in the city limits, they will send ladder 22, which is their ladder truck that is over by Dunkin' Donuts and all that. They will send that into the city limits to cover the city.
Even before they know it's a fire.
Even before they know it's a fire.
And us vice versa.
Yeah, that's vice versa. We go there all the time.
We'll send an engine.
Yeah.
Tell them why Jimmy asked that question though.
So there are many times when we get called to fire alarms, and if we don't already have the equipment listed as responding and dispatched for the ISO, we don't get credit for it. So if it's any potential of a possible fire, it needs to be on the initial dispatch. It has to come automatically. We can't ask for it. Once you ask for a piece of equipment to come, that's called mutual aid. Whereas this is automatic aid. It's automatically coming. We don't have to ask for it, and that's what ISO wants. Mutual aid is great, but ISO wants automatic aid. And so this helps us with our ladder truck issue that we're doing.
Because what would happen is, if we get a call that they have a fire, we automatically take off. But we got the call that it was a potential fire in Demorest. They weren't coming until it was confirmed.
Confirmed.
Well, that's after the fact.
Yeah.
So it's about coming at the same time.
Yeah, so it gives us that credit, and it alleviates a part of our ladder truck problem. There's still things we need to do to make it perfect for ISO, but that alleviates a big chunk of that ISO issue. And it also gives us that piece of equipment in those firefighters.
Very good. Thomas, you could look over this. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, next we need a motion to go into executive session for a few minutes.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session
Oh, personnel, sorry.
on personnel.
Any other things we need to talk about? No. Okay. We have a motion. Need a second?
I'll say.
Thank you. All those in favor of going into executive session?
You gotta go take stuff off of your table.
Favor? All right, y'all need a couple of minutes recess? Okay. All right, let's open the meeting up with a prayer and a pledge. Y'all pray with me. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here this evening. We ask that you bless us. We ask that you watch over us. We ask that you watch over our families. We ask that you watch over our decisions, and our decisions glorify your name. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda. Is there anything y'all would like to add? If none, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve this agenda.
Thank you, sir. A second?
Second.
All those in favor? First is appearance and public comments. Step up. You gotta speak loud, speak your name.
All right. I just want to know about the Demorest County Fire Department consolidation. And I was wanting Frankie on that, and I haven't heard anything out of it. That's my first question.
Well, I do know that those talks were tabled with the county until their retreat, so there hasn't been any further moving along in any of those conversations until their retreat.
When is their retreat?
The 13th.
Of this month? Okay. So I guess we'll hear something out of that.
Okay, and my other one is, 493 Long Street. I don't know update on that.
Which property is that?
493, is farmhouse, used to be.
What's up, Thomas and I are working
Okay, I just.
that man lives in one lives in Utah.
Right.
Right. Yeah, we're working our way through that.
I didn't know, I need to know, update on the.
Yeah, we're working on our way through that one.
Thank you.
Okay. Working our way through.
And again, is there any update on Johnny Gunn's corner property? Nothing?
To me,
Or any of the gentlemen up there?
I saw a vehicle sitting out there by the property about a week ago. It was a construction company, taking off, one. I don't know why they were there.
People sometimes go over there and park.
Yeah.
That way they can get on their phone and do whatever.
So you're still on hold?
not on anything, because nobody's applied for anything.
No worries. All right. Any other public comments?
Are y'all gonna talk about the House Bill 581?
No, not tonight. When is our next meeting on that?
What?
February 13th at 5:30.
No, 6 o'clock.
The first one's at 5:30 on February 13th. On February 20th, it's at 12 p.m. and 6 p.m.
So 3 meetings.
Okay.
I do have one thing. I'd like to ask, the council if they would, approve us to have 2 yard sales this year, right? The first Saturday of April and the first Saturday of September. Now, there's also some talk, Patty, about possibly doing like a vendor thing in the month of May. Probably the second weekend of May. Just want to bring that to your attention. Still got things to work out, but we just want to ask your opinion and but just definitely get approval for those 2 Saturdays. And first one in April, and first one in September.
If you'll send to Megan, the dates and the times, et cetera,
Sure.
so you can have those
Okay.
put together for that,
Okay.
please.
I would like to remind everybody about our meeting. Megan, when is that day?
February 11th, from 5:30 to 7.
Okay, and that's a planning meeting to talk about everything going on in the city, so please, come and we need your input on this meeting. So,
What's the time again, Megan?
5:30 to 7.
I think I already have it on my calendar.
any other public comments?
Is that meeting exactly like the one we just had?
It should be, yes, ma'am. All right. Next is approval of the minutes. Tab 10, the Will Council.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
may I back up and share something with y'all?
Of course you can.
Coming in, there was a lady up there reading the agenda,
Yes, ma'am.
and I just kind of struck up a conversation with her. Now this is what she told me. She was very upset about something on the schedule. So I just listened, nothing relevant that I thought needed to be shared. But then when I got in here, she is upset about the fireworks on the 4th of July. Did she, I know, was she, because she seemed to be upset, did she explain or say anything to you gentlemen about the fireworks on the 4th of July?
She spoke during the work session.
Pardon?
She spoke during the work session.
Are you talking about Liv?
I don't know. I didn't ask for her name. But in here, apparently she's upset about fireworks because it upsets her dog.
So y'all are aware of that? Thank you, that's all.
Council, we need a motion to move forward with the minutes. Approve the minutes as written.
Make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Second. All those in favor to move forward with those? That's fine. Jimmy, on. All right. Next is consideration of letting Mark or sign and authorize the lease for $1 for the Food for Kids. This is the program that goes around and packs the bags and delivers those to all the schools in the county for all the hungry kids. So we need a motion to move forward with that lease as we presented.
Beyond that, make that motion that we continue that lease with that great program.
Thank you, sir. A second? Second. All those in favor? Thanks, guys. Next is consideration of general liability insurance options. We have two options in front of us. What's the first option? What's the name of that company? Tokyo Marine. Tokyo Marine. And then we do have a cybersecurity option that was presented to us as well. So if y'all want to move forward with the presented ones, we will need a motion to include the Tokyo Marine and the Cowbell cybersecurity.
Yes, it's the same company, so, yes, yes. Mike?
Yeah, I talked to Mr. Fisher about that concern before the work session, and according to him, everything is fine. It's the same policy as last year, so there won't be any gap in coverage or anything like that.
And I will tell y'all that this premium came due on February 1st, but they gave us extended coverage till we had our meeting tonight.
Very good. We need a motion to move forward with those two that have chosen.
I make that motion. Move forward with, Tokyo Marine and a cybersecurity account.
Yes, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thanks, guys. Next is consideration of the Habersham Partnership for Growth Invoice. This was tabled from last month, but we do not have an invoice, so we'll need to table that until next month. So we need a motion to table that.
I'll make a motion to table that.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor? You're good. Next is consideration of the PTSD program. We looked at this. If it's your pleasure, we'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution as written that's in the packet and to approve the minimum coverage until Mark has the time to look a little bit deeper in that. The minimum coverage on that is $2,734.
It's not a minimum, it's a mandate.
Mandate.
Just, we made a correction there.
Yes, sir.
Make the motion to state.
Thank you, sir. A second?
Second.
All those in favor? Mark, will you let us know?
I will do work on that tomorrow.
Figure out those details. Next is consideration of the 4th of July fireworks. We have two options in front of us that are different options. Council, how would you like to proceed?
You have the first proposal, which is from Pyrotechnico at $27,500. And you have the second proposal from Sky High Pyrotechnics at $20,625.
Which the price is not necessarily apples to apples with what the coverage is, right?
Well, the biggest thing is, the existing company has $10 million in liability, Sky High only has $1 million. And, like I said, both of them blacked out the company names, their price, and sent each other their proposals so I could compare apples to apples. You know, they got down, telling me how high they will be, how many different shells total. The cheaper one has about 400 more shells they're gonna shoot than the other one. The company that we're with now has done an excellent job for 3 years. The show has been 25 to 27 minutes. In their contract, it says the show's gonna be between 15 and 18 minutes, so they do go longer. I haven't had any complaints about the show. I'm not saying folks haven't complained about fireworks, two different things is what I'm saying. But the fireworks themselves have been excellent. So, you got a young guy, he's been doing it 20 years, and he's had his own company for 3 years, and the other company's 125 years old, and they do it all over the country.
And we've used them for the last 3 years.
Yes.
And we've had great performance from them.
Yes.
I'll make a, do you need a motion?
Yep.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we go with Pyrotechnico, the same company that we've been using
Thank
for
you,
the
sir.
past 3 years.
Do we have a second? All those in favor to move forward with this?
Also have a question. When
Ma'am.
we all met to discuss the budget, there was a discussion that maybe in regard to the fireworks, to kind of offset some of the expense of what the city is going to have to face of doing the fireworks, of whether or not maybe getting some of the local businesses or whoever wants to come in to kind of share some of that cost. Have y'all talked any more about that?
We have had those conversations.
We're meeting bi-weekly and monthly as a city committee. And Andrew has started raising money from various folks. And, you know, it doesn't just have to be Andrew asking people. Anybody can ask any companies. We do send letters out to vendors who do business with the city. And last year, we raised about $18,000. So 15 to 18 is kind of what we've been able to do the last couple of years. The year before, our band cost was $5,000 for the whole thing. Last year, it was, how much? Well, it was like $10,000
On what?
on John Berry.
Yeah,
It was around 10. So Andrew is in charge of,
that covered the stage as well.
right,
Rest
that was
of it.
everything, turnkey that. And Andrew has a lot of experience in the musical business and connections.
We're around the same price point.
So, you know, we are searching to find the right band, and Andrew has told me he should have me some prices on Friday. So that's something that we would have to agree to, at the March meeting to approve that contract. And that's why we're here doing the pyro right now, is because everybody likes to have that contract by the middle of February, so everything's in place. A lot of permitting and things and sort these companies have to do. Anything, Meg, you want to add?
No, covered it.
Andrew?
Want to add?
Yeah.
The group I'm looking at playing is, the name is Troubadour Projects. I would encourage anyone to just check it out, look at it, you know, and let us know. Give us feedback. They are a cover band, but they tour across the country. They're big time, really, and what they provide is, right now, we have the local guy in the area. He is booked. His stage has already been spoken for, sound, lights have been spoken for. We're limited on who else to go to in order for us to put the stage where we want it, right? And that's settled. We have the stage. This group does come with sound, lights, and production included with the music.
Everything except the stage.
Right, and they will play for 2 hours. It's a 2-hour gig for them, so we'll have to, depending on what we want beforehand, either find a new group. I know Sean Huff mentioned some names, or just people to play guitar, you know, like that. So, I think the group's phenomenal. I really do. Please check it out. Troubadour Projects. it's a different genre than what we've had, you know, John Barry's all country. This is, Jimmy, you might like this, this is more of a rock and roll. Eagles, you know, Tom Petty, things of that. But the same quality, the other shots listed to them, it's top notch, really is top notch. All professional musicians, so I think it'd be a great show. I really do, and they're on board right now. They're open. I actually have Bob working with me because he loves doing this stuff. So really help me. They are available. They're holding that spot, and we'll have the final number, which I can tell you. I won't tell you. I can't tell you that tomorrow. And then we'll have to make a decision because I feel like they go quick. I really do, just because of the day.
I have one more thing to add on that. We have been discussing an all-day Fourth of July event. Are y'all against that?
Having the parade at 11.
I mean, I'm open to that. And I've been playing for this little guitar thing, this little PSG coffee house, and these guys want to play. These people that play local, they want to play just to get their name out. So I feel like entertainment is not a problem all day long.
What we were thinking was the vendors set up, and it's really not a full day for them, where they can come in the night before and set up, start at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and selling whatever they want to sell all day.
Right.
So then the parade will be at 11, the lineup starting at 9:30. If y'all are amenable.
Yeah, we just wanna make sure you're on board for that before we start giving out our vendor applications.
And the stage will be set up the day before. The stage is Jeff Miller Productions out of Gainesville. Mobile stage, just like Wayne Bright has. He's gonna set that up the day before. Maybe during a city and company day off. So it's so rare. And then all I need is that generator. We're good to go.
And that's fine, Brian, that's not a problem.
That's fine. So I mean, this.
Very good. Thank you, guys. At our last meeting, was a special call meeting, and we could not add the city manager contract. So we have that back in front of us again tonight. Council, how would you like to proceed?
I'll make a motion that we offer Mark the contract with the, as it's written.
Second. All right, all those in favor to move forward with that? Next is consideration. We need to accept the resignation of Rebecca Goodwin. We appreciate Rebecca's service to the DDA for all the years. She did turn in her resignation. So if y'all see her out, make sure you tell her thank you for all of her hard work at that. We need a motion to accept her resignation from the DDA.
I still question from the training that I got from DDA that it's not effective until there's a replacement made.
It's my understanding, is there only until you have a replacement.
Well, if she resigns, she resigns. And you all are charged with accepting the resignation. The general rule with regard to public officials is that a particular public official continues until their replacement is selected and sworn in. So I guess technically she still would be considered a member if that were important, but if she's tendered a resignation and it's, you all need to, you can vote to not accept it, but it
won't be effective until there's a replacement.
it's not going to be, typically they probably should be written to be effective when a replacement is impaneled, but as long as they've got a quorum, they can continue to do business.
Can we move forward and accept her resignation, and then it's really not legally effective until we find a replacement, just to get that checked off? Council?
Make that motion.
All right, we need a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor to move forward with that resignation? Thank you. Next, we need to update the signers for the DDA banking accounts. And
add Jim Welburn as one of the signers to both of the DDA accounts. We need a motion to.
And remove Rebecca.
Correct, yes, sir. So we need a motion to outline, remove Rebecca, and add Jim Welburn to both bank accounts.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? All right. Next is consideration of the intergovernmental agreement for the training facility with Baldwin.
Can
This is
we
where-
go back on that? Can I get y'all to, make a motion to change it? One of our accounts has Lawrence still on it. So I need the motion to indicate.
So there's two things that need to happen.
This one is the feeding operation account. This is the lease.
Okay. All right, hold on. Okay. Council, we need to modify that motion to adding Jim Wilburn and Mark Musselwhite to the DDA accounts, the one ending in 7799 and the banking account ending in 6782.
I retract my previous motion and make the motion that you just stated.
Thank you, sir. A second?
Second.
All those in favor? Very good, thank you. The intergovernmental agreement with the city of Baldwin, this is $1,000. We've been doing this in the past, where the fire department does do training with the city of Baldwin and use their facilities. We need a motion to move forward with this intergovernmental agreement.
Make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor to move forward? Next, we have consideration of mutual aid with the city of Cornelia. This is where they will send us a fire truck, ladder truck, and we will do the same for them in case of a fire alarm or a fire. Correct, sir?
Yes.
We need a motion to move forward with this agreement with the city of Cornelia.
Make a motion to move forward with the city of Cornelia.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Next is manager's report.
All right. Did get legal notice dated January 22nd, 2025 from the city of Toccoa. That they will be raising our water rates effective July 1st, 2025 from $3.21 to $3.30 per 1,000 gallons. And this is within their rights of our contract, and they use the CPI for that rate increase. Also, we have contracted for $3,100 a soft wash pressure washing company to pressure wash this entire exterior, the gym, and the scout hut, and the sidewalks. And so we'll start by doing City Hall portion on the weekend. And they can just work themselves around the week with that. The company just pulled in, saw what the building looked like. This company does a lot of major restaurants and hotels, and they were working down there at Longhorns coming through, coming in. He's been a thorn in my side. We got a couple other bids locally too, and so they'll start with that.
And how much was the bid?
3,100. It was a steep.
Yeah.
It's a steep. And it's a soft wash, which a lot of chemicals, and it should be where it peels off. Yeah. Yeah.
After that's finished, there's a place on the front of the building that used to be where a flag would be. You see if that's still valid?
Where's that at?
Right outside the store.
Oh,
Like,
well, we have the flagpole out there existing, but it was up on the roof.
There's a little ball up there.
Okay. Yeah. And we can hit that more when I go to talk about the post office, if you allow that. Brian and I have been discussing the condition of the band stage or pavilion down City Hall, post office parking lot. If you haven't noticed it, it's in pretty bad shape. And from shingles to the panel box, if you haven't noticed that, walk up there and look at it. I don't even know how that was legally installed the way it is. And so he and I have been getting some bids to look at remodeling that, and it would look like Holden does with the timbers. Oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about now. With the timbers and doing the Tully Groove boards like we did down at the pavilion and restroom down there. New electrical, new lighting, et cetera. So I'll be bringing y'all some numbers on that in the next 30 days. So I just want y'all to know that. I did write a letter for Habersham County Development Authority for the Appalachian Regional Commission today that they're working on some grants to do some things out in 365 area. So that will be something we'll be hearing about from their side. I have started back in conversations with the post office. They are ready to move forward. And in order to move forward, we have to provide a parking lot out front, if that's what y'all choose to do. And Brian and I, we've got the drawings that they've submitted. And we've given some rough prices on it. It hasn't been designed, it's just been drawn. And to see roughly what that would cost. And we've been working on what their monthly rental rate would be for the space. And there's one thing we have to provide for them is just full power down to that end of the building. They do everything else that they have to do. And so we're moving to the next level, at least trying to get to see, can we get a memo of understanding with the rates? We have done research on the comparable post offices in the southeast. And if y'all decide to move forward, we'll get these costs, and we would have to do a loan from the bank and have cash flow off of the post office lease that borrow that money to have that, if that's what y'all choose to do. They're not coming without a parking lot in the front. And we've also had an arborist come and look at the two trees. They were to core them, but the original projections was those trees are 150 years old. So we would have to do a landscaping plan to see what we can do, but you gotta be outside of the drip line, and the drip line is everywhere the end of the branches go. Those trees are huge. That's a big circle. If you stood there just standing at the end going, okay, I can get about a quarter of a parking lot in here. And then so that's an issue we're still gathering. If we had to do something, we would have to have that landscaping plan to show the public, because if you get within that drip line, you're going to kill the trees. And if you don't get in the drip line, or you'll have a parking lot, or we'll have a post office, or we're just gonna leave it and move on from there. That's gonna be a pretty quick decision in the next 30 days. We've got to at least talk about it. Because there's 4 trees that could be affected. 2 next to the building, the corner outside Megan's office, and those 2 over there. Not saying anything's coming down, I'm just saying they're in discussion, if that's our plan to move forward.
Have you got any preliminary costs for paving?
That's what I'm saying we're doing right now. Because there's not really plans, details, it's just drawing for anybody, and I'm just trying to give you a rough number.
Right.
You know, whether it's asphalt, concrete, you got the curb and gutter, have to meet DOT standards with the ingress and egress coming out there. So that's what we're meeting. Brian and I are meeting, doing a Zoom call tomorrow with the electrical engineer to get the exact precise what we have to pull down there for their power. So
Yeah, this is happening this year or next?
whenever y'all,
Is there money in the budget for
No.
it this year?
I was gonna have to borrow the money and use the cash flow from the post office lease to repay that back.
Hopefully,
Yeah, pretty much the lease the post office would pay the loan to do the remodel.
And this is just me getting y'all the facts for y'all to decide. Because at some point, we can tell them we're going or not to. And they can just plan on staying or plan on coming up here or finding another place. Because that's why I'm gonna get the rough estimates and say, here's what they could lease for this amount of money, here's what our loan amount could be, and here's what our monthly cash flow would look like. Because there's a lot of energy that has to go through this when we get ready to go to a contract for lease and all the things that they have to do, and we have to do, and Thomas would have to do, we would have to start spending money. And I'd rather know if y'all don't think it's something y'all wanna do, either move forward or stop.
Do you know if they are open to staying where they are?
Well, I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would, but we haven't discussed that. Because, you know, they're paying roughly $2,200 a month.
Which is a recent.
It's $1,000 increase from where they've been paying for 30 years. So they got a sweet deal. But if we also then want to develop downtown into another restaurant, that's the only way we can do that is have them move here or somewhere else to pick up that side. We got notice today that GFA has approved our copper and lead grant for the lights trailer and the new backup. And Fletcher and I are supposed to get together tomorrow or the next day, go over details. And we'll obviously that will be on one of the agendas to accept that. That's going to be, they approved us for $100,000 for that. We've used probably 20, give or take, with EMI. So we really won't have to send back much money since we got approved for this. We can only purchase 50% of the purchase price. And we've got ARPA money set aside for that also to cover that. We have the gala Thursday night, 5:15. You still in? Sean is not. You're not. Y'all too. Okay. And then Casey's in. And James, did you get in? Okay. And then Dave and his wife. And I'll confirm if we have 2 extra seats, we might have some. Brian couldn't make his schedule. So we'll go ahead and include it. Megan and Joe are coming too.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Under Brian's area, emergency locates, it was 13, total locates of 253, 235 work orders, 9 leaks, and we lost roughly 153,000 gallons of water due to leaks and various issues. 16 emergency 911 calls for water and sewer. Streets, leak, and brush was 565 loads. We also changed out 200 meters because we had some that were slow because they are your cash register. We had to change out the top mechanics of them, and that was a pretty good hit. So with that being done, that pretty much covered just about all of them, but we will continue buying so many at a time. And on Brad and our grants, it's a very slow process. But I did get word 2 weeks ago that we got approved for the rubber sole flooring for the new playground equipment. We're still waiting to hear back from through DOT's rubber tire recycling program. We had asked for $169,000, they gave us $159,000. And we're still waiting on the 739 grant, and that we would have to do a 370,000 of that. And I'm pretty sure that our 159 can go towards that. And we've got 3 projects we're still working through with DOT and a Georgia GMA grant also. So that's where we are at this point in time. We have sent him some other information to look at grants for water and sewer, and things of that sort. So there's a lot going on there, and there's a lot of hurry up and wait, and so that's the stage we are with that. And you'll see the DOT grant when we go to vote to accept that. We go to water and sewer, we're within our water treatment facility permits, and we're within our permits on the drinking water. In fire for the month of December, Dave and his staff had 104 total calls, with 6 emergency calls that could be considered structure fires for ISO. That's 104 for the month. For the year, Dave and his staff had 1,208 total emergency dispatches for 2024. Obviously, that's gonna be a lesser number going forward into 25, because a part of that, when did we stop getting majority of the calls from the county? What was that month?
4 months ago.
Okay, so we should see that number go down. We have seen an uptick the last 3 weeks, and then putting us back out in the county. And I put the county on notice today that, we're not going back to the county. We can't do that right now, since they're not funding any of our costs to do that. And it's the city residents funding all of that. And they're looking to see why and how that started. So I don't want our firemen to have to sit there going, are we going or not? Because that's what it turns into. So we have had that, and we'll see where that goes. For Casey and our police department, we had 364 total calls, 6 domestic, 1 physical, and 5 verbal. We had 13 incident reports. We had 21 accidents, including 2 hit and runs. We had 90 traffic stops and only issued 18 citations, which is 20%. And our officers completed 280 hours of training. On the summary here, we only advanced $86,000 in the month of December from the water fund. We averaged about 136. So I told y'all we would be making every effort to lower that amount. And it started in December. We see property tax in the month of December of $64,000. And under the SPLOST fund, it said that we paid the $45,744 on the police to do 911 radios, but that money came out of ARPA. We transferred that from ARPA funds into the general account for that. Water sales for the month was 623. I'll pick those. But we installed $39,003 worth of meters sales at the cost of $3,015 per meter in the month of December. And now, starting in January, we're separating that money out so that it stays in the extension fund for that. Baltimore water purchase for the month of December was $115,000, and Tacoma was $20,000. And we did roughly $31,000 in various water and sewer repairs and pipe purchases. And we finished the Little Panther Tugalo Shortcut DOT project a couple weeks ago. And the gist of that money was roughly $75,000 in inductive iron cost. And, but it had been 100% completed for our part. Under our financials, again, these are dated December 31st, 2024. So this is ending our fiscal year with these numbers, and I'll be talking with our CPA to come give us a quick review, maybe in March, to go over year-end numbers before we started the process of the audit already, which is a long process. But you can look here, total cash in our operating accounts was $268,000. DDA there, that's another $200,000, $303,000 in SPLOST. The water account is $3,000,001, and our operating cash was $447,000. If you carry that forward, do they reconcile the books today or yesterday on February 3rd? We show total overall cash being $3.4 million and total operating cash of $807,000. Look below the black line there, you can see how our average expenses have been. $235,000 for the general, and for water and sewer, $622, or a combined monthly expenses of $858,000. And we're still at our liquidity of 2.01 months. All our bank statements, all our bank loans have all been paid for the year 2024. And we obviously started over last month for those that come due in the month of 2025. You go to page 4. You can see, again, this is our year end. Our budget under the property taxes was $346,000, and we collected a little over $14,000 above that amount for $360,000. I will tell you that taxes have been coming in a pretty good clip in the month of January and February. I want to say yesterday was like $21,000 in tax payments. So we'll see some good collections of that. If you look down here, our budget for the revenue for the general fund was $1.2 million, and our revenue came in just $58,000 short of that at $1.2 million. And the biggest part of that was the motor vehicles. We only collected 25 of the 55,000, so that's where the biggest shortage came from there. Under the expenditures, our budget was 2.828720, and our actual is 2.828969. So we came in at $249 from our budgeted amount for our city general fund expenses. SPOS, we collected almost $34,000 for the month of December, and that's in line between 32 to 34,000 is what we've been hitting the last several years with that. On our revenues downtown, everything is all in good shape right there. Collections, go to page 5. Total budget. Let's see here. Year-to-date water sales was 7.3, and our budget for water was 7.1, and we came in at 7.5 in water sales. Our expenditures, I'm actually on page 6, guys. Our revenue, our expenses for the sewer plant was $5.8 million, and we came in at 5.4. So we came under budget at $424,000 when we made those cuts back in October. And our net, you see our net right there, a little over 1.2 million. And the actual was the budget amount, and we came in at 2.1. So SPOS dollars, like I said, the total amount is on par for where we need to be. And so we're just looking for those sales tax to continue. Like I said, our balance is $303,000. And so everything at this point financially, we're in very good shape. And things definitely turned the corner on some expenses. And again, I would say that I feel pretty confident for January, our transfers will be around that less than $100,000. Because again, our average was 137. So we're doing what I projected we could do. So that concludes.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions? Next, we'll open it back up for parents and public comment.
The only question that several of us are asking, what's going on with the bridge? When did
October 26th.
October 26th?
That's the projected date. It was March of 26. Now it's, and again, you know, they don't keep us necessarily informed of that. And, but it's a fair question for sure. Because obviously, James, you had something down there directing traffic in the backup today, did you not? What was the problem?
We're running in those, very long beams.
Oh, okay.
I think 4 of those trucks, they were extra long.
Right.
So we assisted them with traffic. They had their own flagging crew out there too.
Okay.
You would think when they built the 2 schools out there, and they ran into the Pearson problem. I guess people don't remember the same thing. A
lot of work is in that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we thank you.
All right, anything else to go into executive session for? We need a motion to adjourn. Thank you, second. All those in favor?